The next part we're going to model is the flywheel web. So as always, start a standard millimetre IPT. So the first thing we're going to do is get the main profile, and it's very important in Inventor that we don't overcomplicate our sketches, because of course you could do one complicated sketch and then extrude this, but I'm going to try and show you a way of which you keep your sketches as simple as possible and you do all of your features in 3D. So we're going to start with a sketch, and we're going to do it on the XZ plane. So the first thing we're going to do is basically draw the outer diameter, which is at 90 millimeters, and then we're going to do the inner diameter, which is at 28.5. And as you can see, I'm typing in the dimensions as I'm creating the circle. I was using the hotkey C to create the circle. We've now got our basic profile. So we're going to press E for extrude, and it's obviously saying which profile am I extruding. We're going to select this one, and it's 3 millimeters. And of course we're going to do it symmetric, so we can keep the center of gravity around 0.0.0. So if you just hit OK, we now have the basis of our flywheel web. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one of these profiles in a simple form, and then I'm going to fillet it afterwards and then circular pattern it 4 times. So if we hit sketch, and we'll start on this face, take us into the sketch environment. I'm going to start with my 2 circles, so again center point circle, and the first one is at 20 millimeters radius, not diameter, so change that. And my second circle, which is 40 millimeter radius, so 80 mil diameter. So that gives us basically you can see the inner and outer edges. We then have 2 lines. I'm now going to draw in my 2 lines, and the good thing about Inventor is we can be very rough to start with and of course constrain it afterwards. So I'm going to draw in the 2 lines roughly where I think they are. I use the hotkey L to get up the line tool. Now you can see on the vertical line there's a little white marker next to it, which is showing the perpendicular constraint. So what Inventor is saying is, I think you want to draw this line perpendicular. If you place this line down, I will add that constraint for you, so that's good. We'll add that in. I've now pressed escape out of the line, so you can see we've got 2 dimensions needed, and those dimensions are basically where these lines are in space. So we're going to hit the dimension and do it to the center point, and we know this dimension here is 6.35 millimeters, and we know that it's going to be the same for this one. So what you can do in Inventor is you can actually select other dimensions. So if I select this, you can see it's changed to D6, so that means whatever this one here changes to, say we change that to 8 millimeters just to show you, they both change. So this is a function of this dimension. So again, we're modelling parametrically in case anything changed at the end. So we now have a bit of extra sketch geometry left over. So you have a trim tool, so AutoCAD users will be familiar with this. If you hit X, that actually takes you into the trim tool, which is in your modify panel just here. And then you hover over and you can see that one line is dashed and one is solid. So the dashed line is what's going to be removed. So you can see that's perfect, and also we do the same for the inner diameter. We're now left with one segment of that flywheel web that we needed. I'm then going to hit E for extrude. It's obviously asking which profile because there's a possible 3 here. We're going to select this one. As default, Inventor's saying, okay, you must want to add material here if you're using extrude. We don't. We want to use cut, which is this tool here. And we don't want to do distance 3 millimeters, because if somebody comes in and retrospectively changes the thickness of this web to say 4 mil, our cut won't go all the way through. So what we need to do is we need to change this to all. So this will always cut this profile through the whole model, no matter how thick it is. So if we hit OK, you can now see we've got the flywheel web. We've only got one of the 4 segments, but now we're going to add in the fillets. Fillet radius is 4.5, so if we hit F for the shortcut for fillet, we're then going to select all of the edges like this, change the radius to 4.5, and then we're going to hit OK. So you can now see we've got that profile. So that was a lot easier than doing one big sketch with all of these features done in 2D. So now all we're going to do is use a circular pattern. Asking which features is it that you want to rotate. We're going to of course select the extrusion, but you can actually also select the fillets as well. We're then going to use the rotation axis, and of course it defaults to 6 through 360. We actually only want 4, hit OK. There we go, that's the Flywheel web. And hopefully that showed you that it's a lot quicker to do a simple 2D sketch and do all of your features in 3D. Last thing we need to do is change the material, which is stainless steel. So hit return, and there we go. So we're going to save that one, and of course, because the IPJ has gone into the correct folder, we're going to save that one as Flywheel web.